realize how serious the issue of sexual assault is, especially on college campuses. Given recent events in the news and emails we've received as students, I'd say if I'd asked that question, you'd have raised your hands. I'd also assume most of you, if you participate, enjoy sex. Sexual assault is not the same thing as sex. Yet, both contain the same word, and when invoked, incur similar understandings that blur the lines between a natural and healthy activity and an illegal act. Do you know the difference between sex and sexual assault? Do you know that some people don't, or at least exhibit behavior to suggest that they do not? Let me give you a little bit of context.
With a clip.
But how does Donald Trump say that you need to grab a woman by her genitalia and not hate coming out subterfuge?
Because you can talk about that until you're blue in the face. It is not helping the electorate understand what the policies of the Republicans and the Democrats are, what their platforms are, and which direction they want the country to go in. Right now,
In the video I just showed you, the man speaking is Ben Carson. He proceeded to minimize and belittle the discussion of sexual assault that came to light in the wake of a presidential candidate's and presidential-elect's statements about their ability to kiss and grope women without permission. As a student who's been aggressively educated about sex all my life, but not sexual assault, and based on 2 weeks of research, I've been persuaded to tell you guys about the harm due to the current way we discuss sexual assault. According to my audience survey that I dispensed on October 23rd, 2016, my classmates said that they've all been educated about sex in some way, shape, or form, and they all believe that rape culture existed, a culture that exists to undermine sexual assault, naming such aspects as victim blaming and stereotyping men as predators. Today, I want to persuade you all to recognize the current era of the way we discuss sexual assault and the importance of producing change by discussing the effect of sex as a taboo topic, rape culture as an accepted standard, and recognizing how easy it is for sex and sexual assault to be conveniently mistaken for each other. First, there's a stigma against sex. According to the National Conference of State Legislatures, a website I accessed on October 10, 2016, only 24 states in America mandate that their public school education teach sex education. The only reasons they gave for this were to educate about sexually transmitted diseases and to prevent teen pregnancy, but the ultimate goal, to make sure that people desisted from sexual intercourse. Furthermore, from 1997 to 2008, the federal government funded abstinence-only programs that were shame-based and were used to make sure that students knew abstinence was the only option. And eventually it was proven that none of their funding was able to provide positive sexual behaviors. In her book, I'm Not a Slut, Slut-Shaming in the Age of the Internet, Leora Tannenbaum states that words such as slut or hoe were used to condemn people with more than normal sexual partners, or those who were perceived to be overindulgent in their sexual activity. With the use of those words, they also asserted that rape was not a misfortune to anybody who was labeled as a slut. Due to the connotation and denotation of the word slut, people used it to further the stigma towards sex. It is a verbal punishment. Also, when using the word slut, if anybody had been known to be slut-shamed and they were unfortunately a victim of sexual assault, they could be perceived as responsible for their assault. Now that I've talked to you about the stigma towards sex, I want to talk about some inconsistencies there are when it comes to sexual misconduct between state and federal laws, but emphasize one rapist. Kristen Salyer said that California's law led to the injustice that we witnessed, called the Stanford rape case. Brock Turner was a swimmer from Stanford who had sexually assaulted a person, and in the end, after his trial, he was merely given 6 months. Kristen Salyer points out that California law says that rape is an act of sexual intercourse when a victim cannot give consent, meaning it's only called rape if there was penetration with the penis. If there is no penetration with the penis, then it's not rape. It's some other crime, like a foreign object. Because Brock Turner did not penetrate his victim with his penis, he was not tried for rape. He was tried for sexual assault, and in the end was able to only get a sentence of 6 months, when normally he could have possibly been jailed for over 14 years. Now, Salyer points out there's an alternative that California could turn to, which is FBI law. FBI states that no penetration, no matter how slight, by the penis or by a foreign object, is to be downgraded. Any act is rape. Therefore, the hierarchy that we create between sexual misconduct isn't so steep. Any victim who perceives their assault as either small or major will both be treated with equal measure. But it's important to note that although these laws differ, there is one common thread that they both emphasize, and that is consent. In my interview with Ighiwiyisi Smith, the Deputy Coordinator of Title IX for Clemson University, which I conducted on October 25th, 2016, she said consent is the key. In my audience survey, when I asked my classmates to define consent for me, they all used words such as willingness, agreeableness. You cannot be intoxicated. And in the end, every single definition they gave was referring to an incident of sexual intercourse or sexual assault. Now, unfortunately, some people believe that consent is not really important. This is actual testimony given by people who, in the aftermath of sexual assault, were asked to explain themselves. One person was stated saying, drunk sex is okay. Drunk sex is not okay, because drunkenness impairs your senses. If your senses are impaired, you cannot agree to anything, especially any sexual activities. Another was the way she dressed invited my sexual advances. Your dress code has nothing to do with giving verbal acknowledgement of what someone is allowed to do with your body. And last, I invited her to my house. She deserved it. An invitation to the house is not related at all to any sort of sexual intercourse. You could sit down and watch a movie if you invited somebody to a house. You don't need to touch them. If you wanted to proceed for sexual activities, you need to ask for permission. Now that I've told you about sex as a taboo topic, the differences in our laws and national and state laws, and how important consent is, I hope I've persuaded you to be more conscious about the relationship between sex, sexual assault, and rape. According to Ighiwiyisi Smith, understanding sexual assault, understanding consent, decreases sexual assault cases. In order to do that, we must recognize that sex is good, sex is healthy, and we must inform ourselves of what is not sex, so that we are informed accurately. I am speaking out against a public that is misguided by misconceptions about sex. If we want people to respect us and our choices, then we have to be willing to talk about sex, be comfortable with it, so that when we are in situations where we do not want to have sex with someone, we are able to be given justice. Condemning sex in our public and private relationships is not good at all. It tells us that sex is bad all the time, and sexual assault is good some of the time. As American citizens, there is such thing as jury duty, where you may be asked to deliberate on a rape case. If you were ever asked to be in a trial for a rape case, and you denied a man or woman justice because you were ignorant of the importance of consent, what would you do? Finally, words inform actions, and actions taken through our justice system are irrevocable. So please, as American citizens who value our laws, the way we speak must